Good day, dear friends. Welcome. What a day we are having. We are I do not know. I do not know if this case could have ever turned out to be this bad for the prosecution. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start. I'm awash in a sense of, dear God, help us. First of all, welcome, dear friends. Excuse me as I cough, to our dear members. We have dear member Nietzsche. We've got Lyle here, and we've got Angela Brooks, ladies and gentlemen, says, what are your thoughts on the video evidence submitted by the state showing Tyler switch which leg he is limping on? Candace called it out on X. Oh, yes. And also, Disaster says, I stopped paving over a crime scene to watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are 100% correct and on this. God love you. Welcome to this. Isn't this fun? Isn't this great? It's better than anything I could have ever even imagined. Where do we start? Oh, I don't know. First, I have had the time of my life. Let me start off by telling you this, in case is there any newbies here? Any tyros? Any boulevardiers? Any panjandrums? Oh, look at this, our good friend CJ. Bless your heart. Any new folks here? Welcome. Because I want you to understand how this thing is. Anybody? It is important because I want to see some new member. Terrific. Well, welcome. First, this is the most important thing in the world. I want you to know something. I don't start off this being pro Tyler Robinson. I'm not. This has nothing to do with Candace Owens, which I'll get to because everybody on X today, that's all they're talking about. Tyler Robinson. Well, if this doesn't prove once and for all that Candace Owens is full of shit, what? Well, this video. What video? The video of Tyler. How do you know that's Tyler? Well, he's got his shoes. We don't even know if it's Tyler. Did you know that? Oh, it's a newbie. Tracy Purcell, bless your heart. Tracy, welcome, you little lady. We don't even know who it is. Let me say this again. We don't know who this is. Now, there's a couple of blowhards. I'm never going to mention their names. But one guy is a lawyer who was so full of shit. He doesn't understand it. Listen, like I told you, I'm not in this wanting to help Tyler. I get him confused. I'm interlacing the two. I'm talking about the facts of the case. And Malloy, brand new member. See, this is the part. I'm only going to talk about it the way it is. And everybody today has been talking about Candace. Let me say something unequivocally. This has nothing to do with Candace Owens. Nothing. Like her, don't like her, hate her. She has nothing to do with this. If she thinks that Martians killed Charlie and Martians aren't proved at the preliminary hearing, so what? Candace has completely contaminated the minds of everyone. She has completely and totally and without. She is infected, corrupted, corroded, invaded the mind, the collective wherewithal of everybody. I've never seen. It's all day long about Candace. I'm thinking, are you watching this trial or not? Well, let's see what Candace says about this. Candace says that she thought for sure it was an exploding microphone. She said that she thought for sure that Tyler wasn't there. And I'm saying, how do you know Tyler was there? What do you mean? There he is. They're all they care about, a lot of people, is Candace. All right, so let's take that and move this over here. I don't know what that's about. Listen, I'm going to say unequivocally, I love Candace. You love Candace. We all love Candace. But dear friends, it has nothing to do with this. I'll tell you, Candace, you haunt these people. She has nothing to do with this case. Okay, let's talk about some things. First, I was talking with my great friend Ben Swan. Ben Swan is one of the best journalist commentators. He is the one who brought to the fore this thing called Pizzagate, which everybody said, that's bullshit. Really? Not after the Epstein files. And it's one of those things where people just don't want to think about this. And they don't want to think that there are people out there who might be very, very evil and will do very, very evil things. Now, in case you just tuned in, let's start off again, shall we? Good. This is a preliminary hearing. And the preliminary hearing is only to decide and to determine whether there is probable cause to proceed. Hey, Tyler, is there enough evidence against you? It's very hard to think there isn't, but if somebody wanted theoretically just to throw you in jail and bring you to trial, we want there to be some initial determination to find out whether we even have any evidence to hold you in the first place. It's that simple. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's one of those things which I find to be absolutely incredible and very, very necessary to live in a society that appreciates this. And, a lot of this has to do with folks who are learning sometimes about criminal justice and criminal procedure for the first time ever, which I find to be absolutely fascinating in my own right. And I wanted to bring that to your attention and let you know how this thing works. So, before us right now is a case that has riveted the entire world. Everybody is talking about this case. And I couldn't be happier. One, it gives me the chance to show you what I know. I've been a lawyer for 43 years. Isn't that fun? I love to say that. Oh, I love to say that. I love to say that. I love saying 43 years. 43. And I have seen some stuff and I've done it, and I kind of like the process. And the process makes a lot of sense. And I was blessed, blessed to be in the state of Florida, where I had the opportunity to be in this MASH unit world of prosecution that you just can't believe. So I've seen this. Preliminary hearings were the easiest of anything. First, most of the time, people waive them. To show you how boring, they waived the preliminary hearing because they were so uneventful. You didn't learn anything, and it just... But supposedly, in the case of somebody who is in jail, awaiting trial, remember, not prison, but jail, awaiting trial, hasn't even been arraigned yet, hasn't even been charged yet officially. I mean, and it's difficult because there's no indictment, but you must determine this. Okay. So the first thing is, and I'm going to say this again, and this may sound kind of dry, but it is the most important thing to show you right off the bat how incompetent these people are. You always have a grand jury, especially with the big case. This is a big case. This is a big case. You get a grand jury and you sit them into some courtroom and you say, I'm going to put on some evidence. Do we have enough to indict? Yeah, we do. Do we have probable cause? Good. Sign that. And that is called a true bill. That's called the indictment. Grand juries deliver indictments. Why is that important? Because we wouldn't be having any of this. You would know nothing about no drones. You would know nothing about the fact that Lance's DNA is on most of the rag of the gun. And that could be for various reasons. You will know that he changed his clothes or didn't change his clothes. You will know when cameras turned down or froze or broke down. Those cameras never break down. Never. The only way they break down is if you turn them off. They are the most durable things you've ever seen in your life. They take fights. They don't break down. Okay, that's weird. And it goes on. Then we have again, I'm throwing this stuff around. Here's my first question. Let me stop. Was Charlie ever there? Right off the bat, was Charlie ever there? Now, there may be some other witnesses who say, oh, yeah, I was there. I bumped into him. I saw him. Now everybody says, well, of course he's there. Really? I keep saying, Charlie, I am so pleased. What is the matter with me? You know why? I've been doing this all day. Forgive me. Charlie, forgive me. This is for you, CK. Was Tyler ever there? How do we know this? Because they said he was. Who said he was? That British guy. How does he know? Hull. How does he know? Well, I noticed the way he walked, his limp changed. Candace may be on vacation, but she's not on vacation. And she's driving these people nuts. That's it? That's it? You don't even know that's it? Tell me something. What is more important than being at the scene of the murder? Tell me one thing more important than being there. A bank robbery when you're not at the bank. An arson when you're not at the place that caught on fire. Your presence is critical. It is critical. And I'm not even sure if he was there. Now you can say, well, there was the notion or the issue of the confession or I don't even know about that. So right off the bat, let's just take this. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I don't even know if they can prove whether he was there. I want you to stop for a moment and think about this. Now, the preliminary hearing, this is not an evidentiary hearing. If the judge keeps out information one day and then introduces it the next, it has no bearing on the trial. None. So whatever you hear now has nothing to do with later on. Okay, fine. But when you're listening to this, you're thinking to yourself, this can't be. Because so many questions I have is, how is anybody charging him? You may ask yourself a very serious question. What do you do if this wasn't Tyler Robinson? What do? You know what you do? You wait. There's no hurry. Now, what he did was he turned himself in. Damn it. But if this wasn't the case, you could go a week, a month, hell, you can go a year before you're charged with anything. If you want, impanel your grand jury, have them return a true bill and indictment. That's your probable cause. You'll never have to go through a preliminary hearing because you've got the indictment. And if you're not sure, you wait. And then you arrest him. Take him into custody, have an arrest warrant. Normally, they will issue the indictment with a concomitant arrest warrant. Maybe a bond will be set. But this is different. He turned himself in. I don't even know if this was a part of the script. He turned himself in. He turned himself in. And they said, oh my God, what happens now? I don't know. Well, charge him. With what? He wasn't even there. I knew he wasn't there, but charge him. Okay. Well, now you got to ask yourself, he kind of must have been there, don't you think? For Tyler to turn himself into the cops? Maybe not. Maybe they told him, hey, dude, do yourself a favor. Turn yourself in because they're going to kill you. They're going to come in one day in the middle of the night and you're going to see all these red dots all over you and you're going to scratch your ass funny and they will blow you away. So you turn your ass in now because if you don't, they're going to take you out. Okay. And that screwed everything up. Why do I say that? Because if you remember at first, there were two different renditions of the facts. One of them said it was Tyler saying, goodbye, cruel world, in essence. I can't live the rest of my life in prison. No way am I going to be able to handle this. Don't take me alive, as the Steely Dan would intone. No way. Well, that's the way it was supposed to be. And that would have been the perfect preface to his being taken out by the police. But that's not what happened. He turned himself in. And they said, what do we... Give us a new one. So they had... If you remember the initial... And this stuff will slip by you. The initial affidavit for the arrest, he gave a different story. So everything's screwed up. And now they're saying, was he there? I don't know. Why did he turn himself in? Because he got the word that they're looking for him. They got the word. And if you think about it, well, what if he just... Well, he was there, wasn't he? I think so. So right off the bat, imagine that. Detective Hull, where are you from? I noticed a British patois, a brogue. Detective, who's that? That's Tyler Robinson. How do you know? How do you know? Well, he has a unique walk. He has a unique walk. What are you, John Cleese? What do you know about? What about the walk? How do you know? Well, he had something down his pants. Who did? You mean that guy? That guy. You say Tyler. I'm going to call him that guy. Because you've never told me. How do you... Anybody bump into goes, hey, who are you? I'm Tyler Robinson. That's who I am. No, you don't have that. You've got a car that be... Right off the bat. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you ever been in a case before where there was ever a reasonable doubt whether the guy was even there? It's almost like an alibi. Now, it's not your duty to come up with this, but in essence, he has an alibi because you haven't even established the fact that he was there. We don't know. Okay, fine. Okay. Did we see a picture of him on the roof? I think. Who is that guy? Oh, that's Tyler. Are you sure? Not really. Is that him doing as Jimmy Dore calls it, a Spider-Man off of the wall? Is that what he's doing? Is that him? Is that him? Is that Tyler? Yeah. How do you know? I don't know. You've got a lot of cameras here. Yeah, we got him on the roof and here. Do you have a picture, a camera, a shot of Charlie getting shot? No. How come? Why not? You've got everything else. Is it this grainy? So far, what do we have? I'm still waiting. This is a preliminary hearing, which I will say again, we would not even have had they just empaneled a grand jury. That's all. That's it. Now we got these people in these trials. What are they there for? They're doing alleles. You may not remember OJ. I do. It was the worst. They were talking about alleles and the OJ jury. I don't want to say anything about the OJ jury, okay? But this wasn't exactly a blue ribbon group. You know, a lot of these people, they will thunk you, if you know what I mean. Scott's lass here. Love your wisdom and charm. God bless you. A Scott's wee lassie. I'm not even going to insult you by trying to do an accent. Thank you. So far we're sitting back there and they must be thinking, what the hell's going on? Why did Erica show up for like an hour and leave? But I can't take it. It's the same picture. I don't want to. Do you believe for a moment, by the way, please excuse me for jumping all over the place because my mind is on fire. Do you believe this bullshit about, oh, the judge, he was startled. I was watching a TikTok video of some kid who jumps in front of the camera and I'm like, ah. I said, oh my God, I look like the judge. Did you see him when he saw this picture? Saw the picture of what? What did you not see? Did you see the blood? I did. Did you see it pouring out? I did. Did you see Charlie go like that? I did. Now, I'm not, please, I'm not in any way suggesting that, you know, it was nothing but the head wasn't vaporized. He wasn't found in a field weeks later with his bones scattered by animals. And no, you ever see that? You ever see this thing you see? It looks like ribs. It's like, oh my God. You talk about spooky. That's a person. Ah, that'll freak you out, especially when you're out there and you're with a blasting. Oh my God. And God forbid, I don't even want to say this. God forbid, a child. A baby? No, that'll freak you out. I don't believe for a moment that's what it was. And if this judge was that freaked out over a neck wound, he's in the wrong business. This guy's been a judge for crying out loud. Are you willing to join the crew live covering it? Are you willing to join the crew live covering? I don't know who that is, but thank you so much. I don't know who that is. Now, couple of things which is very important. Very, very important. As we move on and as we look through this thing, we had a woman today who was trying to say that she found DNA. Did you watch this? Tonight's topic, I call this Patsy Prelim Day 2. They proved nothing against Tyler, and all they talked about was Candace Owens. It was the most boring thing I think I've ever been through. The most boring thing. There are people, wonderful people, savants and autists and people who are deep divers spending their day going through this. And it is brilliant. At the other end of this, at the other side of this, was is people like Liz Wheeler, who said, well, this will show that hateful Candace Owens. Ben Shapiro, the Candace. This is incredible. Incredible. We say hello to our good friend Broker 123. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what's really good. Because remember, this stuff is meaningless because they're going to find probable cause. He's going to be bound over for trial. I'm sorry, this is pro forma. And if you think that any judge is going to risk his life and his political career finding no PC in this, you're out of your mind. It's going to happen sure as shouldn't. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, to use the Justin Wilson term. Now, let's talk about stuff which is the most fun. Because let's talk lawyer stuff. This is fun, but this is all proof. And by the way, because this is all brought out, everybody's aware of it, so it can be fixed next time, or certain pieces of evidence can be left out. Because not only does the defense have a great shot at discovery, but the prosecution learns what it's not going to put in. Get rid of that. Let's talk about this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in court, I don't care if it's small claims, I don't care what, you're going to bring most probably something, a piece of paper, a picture, a receipt, a police report, something. And you're going to have to get it into evidence. If it doesn't get into evidence, the trier of fact, the judge or the jury won't even consider it. You can't say, what about this? And then you never introduce it. Well, they can't consider it. I mean, they might. Sometimes you kind of sneakily, you don't really introduce something, but you want to impeach with it. I don't want to get too complicated. But let's talk about this. If I've got a picture, if you're in a divorce case and your husband says, let me tell you about my slut wife. Let me play something for you. What is it? I heard her in a conversation, or I tapped into her phone, or I did something. And I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it. Okay? Somebody asked a very interesting question. Why did the boring DNA lawyer sound similar to Barry Scheck from the OJ trial? Splatters and markers. Oh boy, yes. Reminded of, remember Dennis Fung in The Allele. It was Barry Scheck, and it was also Peter Neufeld. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was shades of that exactly. It was, I had a kind of this flashback. Okay, but let me go back to this. If you introduce something, you've got to authenticate it. You have got to show this judge, this is what I say it is. This is what I say it is. I want to play a recording for you. Whoa. Where did you get this recording? Well, I recorded it when my wife was on. Oh, yeah, are you sure about that? How do I know that? How do I even know that? A good friend says, Margot TV, today prosecutors were going on about Tyler's intent, his motivation, and the Gospel of Matthew, not wanting to include an exhibit, have it sealed, not made public. He lost me. I'm with you. Remember, it is the judge who is a trier of fact, not the jury. Some pay cash mom, parking in the garage, eating in cafeteria, and entering buildings with classrooms can only happen if you are a UVU student talking to the TPUSA and different clothes 3 times. Yes, I was wondering, how is he talking to TPUSA? That sounds like, whoa. The murderer, the assassin, Tyler, you're talking to TPUSA. Why would you be? Am I the only one who said, wait a minute, what? You what? Hold it. Now remember, that's for today. We would have never learned this had we not had this stupid hearing. But let me go back. If you introduce something, how do I know it's not AI? How do I know you didn't create it? Have you heard some of these things? They're telling kids, never answer your phone. Never answer your phone. Never say hello, nothing. You know how it is. If there's some weird number there, you don't even touch it. You don't get near it. It takes 1 second, one little second for some AI or eventually some AGI, brilliant piece of hardware to put together sentences. They say it all the time. They call your kid. They get your kid's voice, or maybe your kid in high school or college, and you call grandma, and you program it to say, "Hey, grandma, it's me, Toby. I'm in trouble. You've got to send me money, $5,000 to this jail. It's a Venmo, whatever." Of course, the kid's not calling, but they took a little sampling. So we haven't seen that yet. So the point is, courts now are going to be asking, how do I know this is what you say it is? In fact, they asked, who was it? Nestor, the defense lawyer, asked Bagley or whatever his name is, and or Hull, did you write this report or AI? So let me just explain this to you. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Not anymore. That's really going to be serious. How do I know these pictures? Then they showed the judge excluded the evidence, then let it back in. This isn't, you circled it, you highlighted it, you blew it up, that's not good. That's not the original. Okay, fine. So guess what happened? They learn next time, well, we make sure we get the original. It's going to be the same judge. He's telling you what he allows and what he doesn't. He's telling you this. I think it's going to be the judge. It's not like a magistrate where the magistrate does this stuff. Where was Lance? Where was Lance? Where was Lance? Hey, Lance. How you doing, buddy? Wouldn't you love that? You know, there's nothing. The judge has a lot of leeway in determining the range and the levels of courtroom presentation. And you can't berate people. You can't browbeat. But how you talk to them is a different story. Hey, Lance, how you doing? Objection. What? He's asking him, how you doing? What's wrong with that? How you doing, Lance? Hey, Lance, did they offer you immunity? Remember when I said that? Hey, Lance. Because if they didn't offer you immunity, I'm telling you right now, buddy boy or buddy girl, you better ask for it. Why? Well, because you're talking about all kinds of stuff. You see, Lance, you're talking about a guy who they say committed one of the most notorious murders of all time. And you're talking to him about hiding stuff and getting the weapon and not talking to police. That's called being an accessory after the fact. Sometimes they call it harboring a witness. Isn't that wonderful? Strada, thank you for what you do. Most wonderful words in the world. Thank you for allowing me to do what I do. Let's go back to that. So listen, Lance, what are you doing here, bud? How you doing? You all right? Did they grant you immunity? They did. Well, what were the terms? What's the terms of the immunity? Now, there's transactional immunity and there's use immunity. This was use. Transactional immunity, they never use anymore. That says, I'm telling you right now, you can say whatever you want and I can't charge you with anything. Anything that you say regarding this case. Use says, you got to tell the truth. If you tell the truth, I can't charge you with this case. All right. So you've got to tell the truth, Lance. You've got to tell the truth. And then Lance sits there. Now, the problem I have is, hey, judge, why can't I subpoena Lance to this. You can't. There's no need for that. Who says? Why not? Well, we have a video of Lance speaking under oath. Excuse me, Your Honor. Yeah. I can't cross-examine a video. How about a Zoom? Just a Zoom. Make it easy on him. No. Why not? In the Sixth Amendment, we have the confrontation clause. You have the right to confront your witnesses, meaning I get to cross-examine them. It gets a little hairy sometimes. Sometimes there's cases involving children. Sometimes there's juvenile and dependency cases where the kid isn't even in the courtroom, isn't even there, and it's very difficult. But that's for another day, because you have to weigh the interests of the child versus what have you. This is a wild one. But his ass, they're going to subpoena him if, and I hate to say this, if he's okay. If he's okay. Because he and Tyler really pose a problem. You see, if this case just went away, some very powerful people would be very happy. They wouldn't have to deal with this anymore. They could say, oh, well, what about the exploding microphone? What about it? Did you see that? Who was it? What's his name? The YouTuber, very good. They showed 30-06 and, that sort of thing. They showed something today, which is very funny. They showed something today. Now, I want you to think about this. They're suggesting that if you were to shoot a 30-06 round into a human head, that the damage would be incredible. It would basically vaporize before your eyes. It would be something that's something really good. I mean, really, not good, but wow. So what they did was they showed these hunters, and they said, well, look at these hunters. These hunters shot these deer or whatever it was. Their heads are still together. And the answer was, you don't trophy hunt by shooting them in the head, shoot them in the body. It absorbs it. This was used on X as an example. That's not a headshot. Tiffany says, I noticed that the witness was comfortable, seemed more relaxed, talking to the prosecutors, but short and stiff with the defense. I find that suspicious. Any thoughts? Oh, all the time. Happens all the time. And thank you. Oh, yeah. Sometimes the cops will do it. And what happens is, what you do is you make sure you make a note of that. And when you do your summation with the jury, you say, by the way, did you notice how this witness talked to the prosecution and then to the defense? Wasn't that odd? Remember, you can, in closing, see, closing is the best. Closing is when you can do whatever you want. Let me give you an example. How many times have you heard objection, argumentative? You ever heard that? Objection, argumentative. Overrule, sustained. Sustained is, hey, I'm with you. Watch it. Overruled is, sit down. Argumentative doesn't mean you're arguing. It means you're arguing your case. You're drawing conclusions. You're giving a lot of therefores. That's for closing. In closing, you can argue all day long. You can say in closing, and did you believe this witness? Did you see the way he answered the prosecution for the defense? Hell, he's lying. He was in on it. He's a phony. Don't believe a word he said. Dismiss it. You can tell a jury, and they'll say, okay, absolutely. Did you believe him? Not at all. Not a word. So that's how you do that. It's always the case. The poor woman, bless her heart. I am so mush when I see a woman who is testifying. She's in this man's world. She's science. And I'm sorry to say this, forgive me. She's overweight and she's probably self-conscious. Because we live in a cruel and a sick world. You know what I do? If it's their witness, I would be the nicest thing this woman has ever met. Not pandering, not unctuous, not syrupy and penguin and greasy and oily and smarmy, saccharine, anodyne perhaps. But I would treat her with everything. She'd love me. And what am I doing? What's the purpose? Did you see what they were? Who was that DNA expert? What are you doing? What are you doing? What? You think she's making this up? You think she's making this up? What was your point? What are you asking her? What do you think you're going to get out of it at a preliminary hearing? Save it for trial. What are you doing? You think the judge is going to what? He's not going to let this in? Because you wowed them with your knowledge of alleles? Hell no. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. And there was no jury there, but when that jury is there, you treat these witnesses with respect. You know who used to do that? Jerry Spence. He was great. He would say, thank you very much for coming. Thank you. We want to thank you for coming. Thank you. And the witness should say, what do you mean, thank you? You subpoenaed me. I had no choice. You were going to throw me in jail. I know that. But we thank you. Indie Drummer asks, Benny Johnson says that the footage today obliterates all conspiracy theories, that he isn't the shooter. Okay, Benny, if that's what you say, I don't think so. I don't think so. Benny can say that. People were saying today, Candace Owens is evil. I'm saying, would you stop that? That's our friend. Why is she evil? She's not even here. Well, she came up with that idea that Tyler didn't even step foot. Well, how do you know he did? Well, look at the video. I didn't see him. Did you? I had somebody tell me he was there. I didn't see him. Did you? Did anybody definitively say that's him? No. What about that holster? So here's my problem, Benny. Benny and the Jets. Benny's got some, you know my Benny, huh? Benny, you know what I mean? Huh? You know Benny? Huh? Just saying. Nothing wrong with it, but you know about Benny, right? Okay. Benny, yeah. Benny, I want you to, you're saying that this obliterates the conspiracy theory. Is that what you're saying, Benny? Benny, is that what you're trying to say, Benny? Well, let me explain something to you, Benny. Here's one for you. The rifle, let's use this, my lint brush, by the way, was not linked to the murder as well, but let's assume this is the rifle that they found. Now, Benny, there's an ATF report that says they can't link this to the wound, to Charlie, to anything. Oh, they found some jacketing or some, but nothing that can in any way be. I mean, they said it was a jacket. They said it was metal. We'll get the chance to independently research this because our experts can say, hey, this isn't even a bullet. It's not a casing or a cartridge or a jacket. No, we don't know. But you see, Benny, this gun isn't linked. And you know, Benny, there's a problem too. The problem is, wait a minute, Me Queen says something, which is very good. Me Queen says, don't you find it funny? Those screaming mountain of evidence are not screaming for Twiggs to be in jail, especially after his I don't know what that was found on the towel. Oh, I guess DNA. Is that what that is? I can't make out what that is. It looks like a baby rattle. I'm blind. And the towel and the screwdriver recovered from the scene. I know. This is why they're granting him immunity, because he might have been an accessory after the fact. But thank you very much, dear friend. But here's this problem. Benny, I'll look at it this way. There's this button here on the Mauser 98. It's a safety. And everybody's got a safety. First thing you know is, where's the safety? Sometimes safety's on, but this is a rifle. And in order to do it, you got to flip this switch up. You got to flip this safety up to turn it off so you can fire it. You got to flip it up. Experts will show, it is alleged, that the scope is on top of this and doesn't allow you to operate it. It's a bit of a problem, Benny, don't you think? I think so. Not only that, they're not linked to anything. They're not linked. We don't even know if the damn thing was fired. And if it was fired, how? How was it fired? When was it fired? And you know what, Benny? You know what's interesting, Benny? You don't mind if I call you Benny, do you? Okay, Benny. You know Benny. Couple of things here. Did you know that they had those, and they don't want to talk about this, but they had those gun sniffing dogs. Remember that? Remember that? And they're going to say, wow, that's a conspiracy theory. Excuse me, you were saying that the first night. Now it's a conspiracy theory. But the story goes that these dogs can smell a fish fart. These dogs are so good. They are so smart. They can see things like you, smell things. And they couldn't find anything. Nothing. They went right by it. They had to almost be helped, like, hey, over here. Over here. Over here. Yeah, that's where it is. Isn't that something? So this comes down to a very, very simple fact. Remember, Benny, and this is what I'm doing. And I would tell old Tyler, I'm not trying to prove anything. Tyler, I don't give a damn what you did. I don't care what you did. I don't even care if you did it. I don't care. I know that's terrible. I know that you're going to say, what? I mean, it may kind of help. But my job, what I swore to when I became a member of the bar, and I swore to uphold the Constitution. And you, my friend, have the right to have a full-throated, zealous legal defense. And I'm going to make sure they prove it against you. And I may not like you. I may not care for you. But as long as my dislike for you doesn't impede my ability to represent you, I'm going to make them bust their ass. And all I want to do is find one little, it's like you look at a diamond, they put that loop, and they look in there. And they go, up, I found a flaw. Up. That's it. That's not guilty. That's it. I've got to have just one thing. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, your reasonable doubt may be different than yours. Juror number one, you might say, I'm going to find him not guilty because I doubt that they proved that he was even there. Okay. Juror number three might say, I'm going to vote to acquit because I think there's a reasonable doubt as to the weapon that was used. I don't even believe that weapon was used. And if there's no weapon, so both of them takes one reason, one not guilty. And then if you can hang up the jury, meaning one, it's unanimous except for one or two, it's a split verdict. That's great too, because we won. That means they have to do it all over again. It's a pain in the neck. that's a loss. That's all I want to do. I'm going to say this again. I don't have to bring up anything. Now, what we do is I get you fine people and I get you on closing. I say, you want to do closing? Yeah. It is so much fun. Have you ever done that before? Oh, it's orgasmic. First, you don't know where you are except there. You forget where you live. If you're married, if you have kids, you don't remember anything. You're there. You were in that moment. You have never, and if you've ever performed before, if you've ever done stand-up, there is nothing like this. This is the room. You got 12. Sometimes you have misdemeanors, but for the most part, 12 people. 12! You got 12. And you got to sell out everything. You got to sell it out. When you sell out, when you've got churros on the mat, you got to sell them all out. You've got to win them over 100%. You got to get a standing ovation. That's your audience. There's no warm up, no nothing. And you got to persuade them. And they sit there and they look at you and they don't say anything to you. They don't. Sometimes they might go like that. If they do, oh God, oh God, oh my God. And you anchor in. And you just give them, they're afraid. They're going to be afraid. They're going to say, now listen, you're going to go into I'm asking you to find Tyler Robinson not guilty. And you're going to meet somebody. And you're going to say, hey, wait a minute. You were on that jury, right? Did you vote not guilty? You're going to say, absolutely. And you're going to say it as proud as if you convicted somebody who truly deserved it. Why? Because you had an oath. You delivered, or what am I trying to say? You followed an oath. You took an oath. That's what I can't think anymore. And the evidence as presented did not prove beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. That's it. And you then turn to somebody and say, you weren't there. I just need one thing. In my case, it's real simple. I just say, they don't have a gun. Let me ask you a question. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let's assume instead of there being a rifle that was there that had his DNA on it, it's his rifle. And lances, most of it was lances, or maybe it was the rag, who knows. You could argue, but to be fair, they took the rag from home. He had the right, whatever. But still. And you look at this and you listen to the case and you say to yourself, you know what? Just not buying it. I'm not buying this. And that's it. As proud as you can be. Because they brought this case. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, doesn't mean that the police were bad. Doesn't mean that Mr. What's his name and Hull and Bagby or Bagley, doesn't mean they're bad people. No. I'm not claiming a conspiracy. I'm not claiming anything. I'm just saying there was a problem. And the problem is that gun didn't work. And that dog don't hunt, as you say in the South. What if they found a bazooka? Listen to me. What if they found a bazooka? A bazooka. Now listen to what I'm saying. They found a bazooka and they said, well, that's the murder weapon. And you said, wait a minute. A bazooka? Yeah. Well, they found it there. And Tyler's fingerprints are on it. Well, yeah, but it's a bazooka. I know, so what? It would have, what are you talking about? The bazooka would have, what about the bazooka? You can't say he used a bazooka. Well, why not? What, are you, an expert? Why can't he use a bazooka? Because a bazooka would do. That's what a 30-06 would do. They want you to believe a 30-06. Might as well be a bazooka. Left a little hole like that. 30-06 isn't going to do that. Not only that, the bazooka didn't fire and that rifle didn't fire. And the ultimate test is, if you went right now, Mr. Prosecutor, and we teed this up and we went into the courtroom right now. And we said, let's impanel a jury. Let's go. What would the jury find? Find him not guilty. Absolutely, positively, 100%. Now, what do you think about some of the comments of this? Some of the folks, I don't want to mention names, but we can. I want to know the following. And I guess which is the part of what I'm doing. Do you find this to be as exciting as it really is? The idea of there being 12 potential just ordinary citizens determining the fate of another human being. Think about that. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's really get catty. Who do you think was absolutely full of shit? Me, Queen says, Lionel, what the hell was Don Jr. doing in the court yesterday with Erica? What was that all about? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I love your show, by the way. Well, thank you, young lady. Well, let me tell you, first of all, I think that is one of the dumbest things in the world. And I would say, Don, Mr. Trump Jr., I want you to do me a favor. Please don't take this the wrong way. Get out. Don't you ever come back. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back. No more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. What are you doing? Do you not know, Don, that some people hate you? I know this is hard for you to figure. I know. But they hate you. Don, have you ever heard of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome? Yeah. What the hell are you doing in my trial? What are you trying to do? I'm the prosecutor. Are you making them think that a vote for the prosecution is a vote for Trump? They can't stand you. Why are you doing this? Why in the name of God are you doing this? That's the question. And Erica, what are you doing here? Now, she is called a victim representative. Now, this is important. In the world of criminal law in Utah, a victim representative, member of the family, a spouse, can be given some kind of status to allow them to have a say. For example, right after she decided to, how do I say this? Right after she decided to forgive Tyler, she says, but I want a speedy trial, meaning she had the right under this provision to request a speedy trial, even though that provision is normally given to the defendant. But Utah's got a weird thing. So it's like, I wish you, I speedy. Don't worry, it's okay. I forgive you. Hurry up, that son of a bitch. Very, very odd. Why did the judge introduce her? How about a big hand for her? He called her Miss Erica Kirk. Marianne Docolo says the podcasters that are streaming are Jesse on Fire, Trigger Smart, Danks, Bays, and others that I can't remember the name. It would be wonderful if you would be there with your knowledge. Well, maybe. I kind of act alone. You know what I mean? Sinbad says, Lionel, after the Twiggs DNA insinuation today, insinuation, la-di-da. Do you think defense will go with a third-party culprit defense at trial? No. That's a good point. No. Here's the rule. Don't give me an alternative theory. Don't say, I'll tell you what happened. It was an exploding mic. I'll tell you what happened. It was an imposter. I'll tell you what happened. It was Russians. No. Because then they have to stop and evaluate that. No, you just say, excuse me, you didn't prove your case. I'm not giving you any idea. I have an idea of what happened, but it's not my job. Then I'm the prosecutor. Then the prosecution becomes the defense, and then he finds reasonable doubt with my theory. No, you want to make this seem very, very complicated. But what you can do is this. Detective, yeah. Have you ever thought that maybe there might be, I don't know, another explanation for this? Have you ever thought about that, sir? Have you? You ever thought that maybe there might be an alternative theory? Have you? Just thinking. Isn't that a part of you're a good detective, right? Isn't that a part of every good detective to think about, maybe there's something else? Have you? Yeah. And I'm sure you being a good detective, you must peruse and scour the internets, as it were, seeing what a lot of people think. Can I ask you a crazy idea? Yeah. Did you hear this is crazy. Did you hear some of these people suggest about an exploding mic, but not an exploding mic, but with a shape charge? And this poor Tater Tatum thinks there's a 30-06 in there. But did you hear that? Yeah. Did you ever at least consider it or think about it for more than 5 seconds? Yeah, I did. Did you pursue it? No. Well, why not? Now the jury says, yeah, why not? Why not? It's very easy to see this, especially medical malpractice case. Well, when this particular treatment did not work, did you think of using another form, another means, another tack? After all, it's a human life. So you can bring up what you're saying, but almost in cross-examination, almost in impeachment. When you hear the word impeachment, that means trying to affect the credibility of somebody else. Now, remember, this is again, I'm boring. This is a preliminary hearing. The right flux says not everyone is bad. I agree, but they'll conceal the autopsy report, lie, not show. That is wrong in my view. Terribly wrong. They will convict. First of all, no, you're right about that. They will withhold. Oh, yeah. Me Queen says, last one. Why did the judge only address Eric yesterday and not Charlie's parents? Yes. That broke my heart, made me sick. You're right. Well, the reason why is that I agree with you. I agree with you. But he was doing it first of all, he shouldn't have done this. He was in the capacity that she was a victim representative. You don't call somebody out. Here's the parents and the sister. I was in the courtroom in Santa Monica when OJ was there. Nobody called out Fred Goldman and his sister, whatever her name was. It is, by the way, the Goldman family. It shows it risks sending him. Now, remember, there was no jury there, okay? So he can't, contaminate his own view. But if they tried this with a jury, it gives people the impression, now listen, the victim's wife is here, okay? Okay? Do the right thing. Victim's wife's here. So I'm with you 100%. Why did Charlie's parents come to a preliminary hearing? I don't think they came back. Why? What was that about? And did you see that Stacy, what's her face? Stacy, the one who came up and Charlie's father said, get your hand. Kind of said that. Stacy, what's your name? Ma and Pa Kettle had more values than the church. What was that one? Sheridan, yes. Did you see that? Did you see that? Trying to glom on like some social parasite. It made me sick. Dear God. Unbelievable. Now, again, does anybody believe that the judge was so affected by this one picture that he was startled? No, not at all. Not at all. I don't believe this for a moment. None. They've seen the picture of this Charlie. How many times have you seen it? I don't want to see it again because, frankly, I've seen it about 1,000 times and I don't want to see it anymore. You mean to tell me you're going to see something that, again, I don't want to relitigate that, but I don't buy that. Remember, this is the preliminary hearing. Now, let me tell you what I would have done, what judges I knew would have done. First of all, this judge comes across, pardon my French, as a pussy. He's very mealy-mouthed. and I don't really know. Answer, make up your denied, met, move on. Sustained, overruled. Go, go, go. I don't want to have an argument for everything. No, I don't want to hear argument. Argument? You don't have the right to argue. Just state your objection. You know why you object? You probably know this, but just you object for two reasons. Number one, to maybe ask the judge to clear this up. To sit there and say, hey, Your Honor, we object. Hey, you know what? You're right. Come and think of it. I'm sorry. Forget it. You're excused. Very good. If you don't bring it up, he can't correct it. Number two, to preserve the issue for appeal. If you don't object, you waive it. You waive it. And you've got to object. That's what they'll say, a standing objection. Standing objection. Where you say, look, I'm going to make this one time. You're going to be bringing this up. You've got, 50 documents? I'm going to make the objection one time, and it will apply to all of them, so I don't have to interrupt you. You understand that? Good, good, good. Okay. That's that. So, but this judge, I would have simply done this. Okay, before we start, I have a pre-hearing hearing. What witness are you going to call? I'm going to call Hull. What's Hull going to say? Tell me. What do you want him to say? What is he here to establish? What? Tell me what you want. Why do I have to hear him? What is he going to be adding? Okay, good. He will discuss the video of Tyler in the garage. Okay, fine. Let's get right to it then. I don't want to hear where he's from. I don't want to hear about his training. I'm a judge, for Christ's sake. What are you doing? I hadn't heard about that. I know this. I'm not a jury. Ryan Flux says, wobbly judge, ha ha ha, but he looks the part. Indeed. N. Cherney says, just watch court TV. People explain how we watch the same hearing, his opinion is completely 180. Are we living in different realities? You know, that is a great question. That is a great question. And it goes to show your bias. And your bias does not mean what people think. It's almost a better word would be the way you think. I firmly understand the system. I firmly understand it. I understand it better than a lot of people. I think I told you this the other day, but I'm going to tell you again in case you just tuned in. When I was doing TV commentary, I said, remember Casey Anthony, the mother who most probably killed her daughter? This beautiful girl, Kaylee Anthony, I believe, and they found her. She was they found just a skull. I said, she's going to be found not guilty. Why? Because you don't even know if it was a homicide. You have a skull. There's no trauma. Could be accidental. Could have been suicide theory. I mean, probably not, but there's no way that you could look at a skull and detect what it is. And I was right. And they went crazy. The worst one was George Zimmerman with Trayvon Martin. Said they're going to find him not guilty. And they did, because I knew about, stand your ground law and others. So I look at things differently. And I know what it's like. We are not detectives. We're not detectives. And by the way, when I see something, I'm thinking, how am I going to get this in? Do me a favor. If you have friends of yours who say this, ask them this question. By the way, I saw this. Megan Kelly had some guy on today. This guy was the worst. He's a lawyer, and he says, well, the preliminary hearing, well, that's what the defense wants. The defense has no say in that. He might want it, but I don't think he knows what he was talking about. Mark Garagos sometimes. Megan's talking about conspiracies. It's like, oh my God, we're back at that. And you're a lawyer. A conspiracy doesn't mean crazy. It doesn't mean crazy. Listen, let me tell you something. There are cases where when the person is 100% guilty, you just worry about sentencing. For example, Rob Reiner's son killed Rob Reiner and his wife. He killed his mother and father. Well, what about that case? You put all the money in sentencing. It's not a guilt. The guilt phase is easy. He did it. It's not a bias. In this case, I am telling you that this doesn't make any sense. Let me give you an example. Let me give you something. Give me an example. This is why I see things differently. Number one, you know and I know. And by the way, whenever you talk to somebody, you say, you think, you must hate Candace. Why? Everybody who hates Candace thinks he's guilty. Because Candace doesn't believe this happened. So in order to get back at Candace, you're going to get back at him. You want him to be found guilty just because that proves Candace wrong. And I know you're going to deny this, but that's exactly, and it is true. There are people who they think for some reason it's like us and them. During the OJ case, black people wanted him acquitted. White people wanted him convicted. And that's true. I saw it. Had nothing to do with it. And I asked people, I said, who do you think did that? I don't know. OJ didn't do that? No. OJ didn't do that. No, somebody else did that. And I'm not going to go into the OJ case, but one time it was so funny. I said, it's interesting. When they called OJ on the phone to Chicago, and they said, OJ, we think you don't want to come back. Why? Your wife's been murdered. No, excuse me, your ex-wife's been murdered. He goes, okay, I'll be right there. He never asked which one. He had 2 ex-wives, Nicole Brown Simpson, and whoever the first one was. Isn't that odd? So anyway, people see things 180. They see things in ways that look at the January 6th. How many of you thought that this was an insurrection? How many did you think for one moment that those people in the Congress this was an insurrection, that they were actually trying to take over or to destroy? Did you think that for a moment? Did you think that? I said this was a trespass. But if you hated Trump, you thought it was the worst thing ever, and it was an insurrection, and it was a black eye. No, it was stupid. They should have been charged with something: trespass, vandalism, criminal mischief. No, but that's another example of where it shows you. That's it. It's one of those things where sometimes I have a very difficult time. Stephen Salty says, just put my phone on charge. You never know. Just put my phone on charge. You never know. I like that. I'm not sure what that means, but I like that. Thank you so much. But you're right about this. The people that I see who say things. And the conspiracy. And Megan Kelly said, well, it's a conspiracy theory. This is not a conspiracy theory. Alex Jones, bless his heart. Remember, AJ is the OG of this whole thing. Okay? You got that? This is a real great whodunit. This is a whodunit. This is a good one. This is a real good one. It really is. And we don't know anything yet. I told you this the other day. I want you to imagine a movie starts. And there's the opening credits. And then somebody walks in and goes, honey, I'm home. And you turn the lights on and go, well, what'd you think? What do you mean? What'd you think of the movie? I don't know. That's where we are now. We have we haven't seen any reports. We haven't seen experts. We don't know about the autopsy. We don't know about anything. Nothing. We haven't even heard contradicting people who might testify as to, well, that videotape. And if that videotape cannot conclusively show that it's Tyler, move to suppress it. What if I were to declare something that I was found, let's say some substance found in, right, and I called it cocaine, but I didn't independently verify it was cocaine, but I called it that. How can you say that's Tyler? You say we've got this video. It looks like him. How do you know? This Hall would say, well, it looked like him. Say, oh no, excuse me. What are you talking about? How about the hearsay? Here's it was incredible. How did Charlie die? He died from a gunshot wound. Where'd you hear that? From the report. The report from the medical examiner who's not here. So you're repeating something that somebody else said. Huh? What are you talking about? So I know what you mean by this. There are these people, they get together and I don't want to mention any names, but I know a couple of people that say, and I love the way in. I can't help it. I like to say things like, too bad you're wrong. Ms. Gilly says, everyone at TPUSA is acting like a suspect on the old Columbo show, sweaty, arched brows, the whole bit. It's true. And why was it, and thank you, by the way, and why was it that this Tyler guy was meeting with TPUSA people? Why is the alleged murderer, the assassin, why is he meeting with TPUSA? How does this work? Molly, help me with this one. Zedek says, when Tyler is found not guilty, then what? Are there any other legal means Charlie's family can take to find out what actually happened? Exploding Mike theory? Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you. First, they can sue civilly. Remember, this case is brought by the people of Utah. And where's Cash Patel? Where's old Cash? Probably with his girlfriend. He's walking around saying, I'm getting laid. And he doesn't know where he is. But this is a state, but they could bring a civil case. Here's the best one. He'll be convicted. I don't know. Not with this one. Let me try this again. Convicted of what? There's no gun. Well, they'll get around it. Then there's reverse and appeal. Then the judge will grant a judgment of acquittal or a new trial or a reverse. I mean, there is no gun here. There's no gun. Why did they bring this? Whose idea was? I mean, seriously. But here's the most important. Many of you, of course, are too young to. I was 5 when the JFK case. Do you know 2 things that happened that changed the world? Number 1 was the Zapruder film. Number 2, what was important was was JFK, the movie by Oliver Stone. If Candace and some other people bankrolled a really serious kind of a loose change documentary and brought up the possibility of exploding by charge, whatever it is, or just that would do more than any case, any trial. Just put it out there. Absolutely. Almost like a Russell tribunal or a Sartre tribunal. So it was wild today. Do you ever find yourself? Now, let me ask you this right now. Right now, you are a juror. And I'm asking you a question. The evidence is in. Both sides have rested. We've done our closing arguments. And now you've had a charge conference. The judge has read you the charging, the jury instructions. And I ask you a question. What is your verdict? For a verdict of not guilty. No, make it easier. For a verdict of guilty, press 1. Is he guilty? Is Tyler Robinson guilty? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. You understand this? Oh, and you mentioned Tatum. Oh, this guy. What do you say? Look at this. This is a jury right now. Tinfoil Fat says, judge should dismiss knowing what a 30-06 can do. Not for that reason, but you're right. Look at this. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. There's going to be a 1. Somebody's going to be like, But look at this. Look at this. Overwhelming. Come on, everybody. If you believe he is not guilty, press the number 2. That's it. Just 2. You don't have to say anything. Just 2. Look at this. Look. Everybody. I don't care if you haven't been paying attention the whole night. Just look at this. Are you crazy? Or are you conspiracy theorists? Is that it? J.P. Hanks says, or Jefanks says, in 2007, I was foreman for a landmark civil commitment of a convicted pedo. It was haunting to redirect the emotional jurors back to the admonitions and facts. I only pray there are similar jurors. Indeed, and I believe there will be. I have a lot of faith in this system. Look at this. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, somebody knew Jerry Spence. It says, thank you for bringing up Jerry Spence. I had the pleasure of driving him around when he came down from OJ trial. I worked at NBC as a driver, nicest guy in the world. $100 tip. Oh, he was a sport. Look at this. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, somebody's got to be funny with a 7. 2, 2. Look at this. All this. 22. It's a double dose. Look at this. Thank you, sir. This is it. Look at you. There's not one. I've not seen one. Oh, we got a couple of smart out. Here's a 9. There's always one. But nobody. Look at the 2s. Look at this. I'm going through this. All not guilty. What's the matter with you people? Are you liberals? Are you just Candace Owens fans? Are you what? Look at this. I haven't even, there's no end to this. Are you watching this? Look. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, unanimously. I didn't see him. Maybe it's got to be 1. Marianne Docolo says, if they prove this to be a religious hate crime, could it go to federal court? Well, we could go to state court. And the reason why is a very good question. Look at this. The 2s weren't even done yet. It's unbelievable. The answer is hate crime wouldn't apply unless you can show that the motivation for this was animus based on religion or race or something else, but it's very difficult because it's almost the motivation. No. Here's what happens. Remember, look at this. Still not even done yet. You're going to find people, listen to me, you're going to find people who are going to view this, I'm telling you, who are going to ask themselves, what happens now? If they are unable to connect that rifle or any rifle, that's it. That's not guilty. Jeremy says, Lionel, please watch Mrs. Robinson, Simon and Garfunkel original with lyrics. Please watch it. Please watch the song. Or not The Graduate, but I've seen this. See it with the lyrics. Okay, I will. I like that. So anyway, my friends, look at this. Are you conspiracy theorists? Are you lunatics? Are you Candace Owens acolytes and minions? What are you? I will see the video. Thank you. Or what is the matter with you? It is so obvious. What is the matter with us? What does this say about us? Why? May I tell you what it is? We hate injustice. And what they did to Charlie, we are not going to forget. And you're not going to get some Patsy, some schmuck, some Lee Harvey Oswald, some Sirhan Sirhan, some James Earl Ray. We've been through this. We've seen this movie. You're not going to do it. We're not conspiracy theorists. We're conspiracy analysts, like the great Gore Vidal says. And this is ridiculous. This is a complete and total waste of time. And there's something so wrong. It drives us crazy. When we see people like this, where we have governments and we have forces of people who think they can do whatever they want. They can take our Charlie away and they can slap it on this kid. No. And you better believe we believe in conspiracy. You better believe that we don't trust this government. Hell no. Absolutely not. Because let me tell you something. I don't know why you would ever think. And it's not about Trump. It's not about the Republicans. It's about a group of people. And you can blame, if you want, you can say it's the Israelis, or it's the deep state, or it's CIA, or I don't know. We will never find out. Nobody is going to admit to it. But what I'm telling you is this. If you had a rifle that was fired and this guy had the rifle or the gun on him, like you have in a million other murder cases, we'd say no problem. It's not that we go looking for something more formidable. We don't look for it. We just accept it. We understand it. We're not looking for a conspiracy, but if it comes our way, we have no problem. My friends, you have been phenomenal. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. This time works really, really well. I think as everybody's tired at the end of the day and all the talk is done. Maybe we'll do this again tomorrow. The mornings work really well too. Great crowds. There's an energy there. So do me a favor. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Because sometimes you lose the subscriptions. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos, because that might be during the day or whatever. It doesn't matter. But join us again and accept my absolute thank you. And thank you for your super chats. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your membership. I also ask you one more thing. My beloved wife, Mrs. L, from Lynn's Warriors, needs your help. She has been working assiduously, tirelessly. She has persevered throughout the years to fight to defend kids, little kids, children from regular predation. Kids who have been affected by big tech, where kids have harmed themselves by virtue of what happens with sextortion and buying substances online and TikTok challenges. I mean, there's a war out for our kids. She goes to Washington, I don't know how many times a month. That is a brutal trip. 4 o'clock in the morning. Get home at midnight. And she has a YouTube channel, Lynn's Warriors. And for some reason, I don't know why, the powers that be never want to give her a break. I believe they suppress numbers. And I believe they withhold money. They demonetize the most innocuous of videos about, legislation. So please do me a favor and follow her at Lynn's Warriors. Let me give you this, if I could, if you'd be so kind, if you just indulge me and permit me, because I know deep down inside, we are all on the same page. But what they're doing to kids today, it is just, I can't even put it into words. Can't even tell you without making people sick. You think that judge, let me tell you something as a prosecutor. You think that judge freaked out? I used to see just ME reports regarding kids that made me sick. This is the email, not the email. This is the link right now. This will take you directly to her account or her channel, Lynn's Warriors. Please follow her. And David, by the way, says, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. A 30-06 would have taken most of a man of steel's neck out. Indeed, and also would have at least had an exit wound. Bubbly Les says, I adore you, Lionel. Thanks for all you do. From, Montreal, Canada. Montreal. God bless you. Our good friend says, Kate says, has anyone seen the full video of someone taking a shot and running across the roof and jumping down? I used to believe in Santa and the FBI. I know, it's very sad. The FBI, with Kash Patel. When I was a kid, J. Edgar Hoover was a pen pal. I know what you're thinking. You're a kid. No, he was the nicest man. And he and he'd send me letters, my family, and thank you, and Christmas cards. He was like, he believed in the image of the FBI. Granted, He and Clyde told him, but still. And now we've got Kash Patel, who at a party for members of the FBI family, he wore a badge. He wore his badge on his belt. His badge. J. Edgar Hoover would never wear a badge. J. Edgar Hoover would say, you know who I don't need to wear a badge. This is a child. And we don't deserve this. So in any event, thank you. So tomorrow, my friends, we'll get together in the morning. I don't know, 8-ish, 9-ish. Subscribe, and you'll know right off the bat. And we will go through this again. You were phenomenal. Thank you. We did an hour and 30 minutes tonight, and it was my pleasure. I thank you so very much. And again, thank you for your kindness and your contributions and your support. Until tomorrow, my friends, this is your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you that the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.